How do you spell psychological? Hello, hi, hello. Starting soon. Don't worry. It is content warning, blood, psychological horror. Yeah, I think that's all the, I guess I should say death, but... you already know that. But you already knew that. Alright, working on the, first chat. Pin. There we go. Hello, babies. How we doing? God, I'm so tired. I probably say that every live stream, but specifically for Fridays. Always beat. Especially since today is probably going to be, I don't want to say it's going to be a long one, but I have 2 pieces planned because I couldn't decide which one I liked more. So I was like, you know what? Why not both? Because I'm crazy. So today's fan art is going to be for the creepypasta Angel of Mercy, written by MagpiePony. And it is a good one. Of course it is. It was written by MagpiePony. Obviously it's going to be good. Because she is a mad woman and cannot be stopped. I'm assuming she. Alrighty. If you haven't heard the creepypasta Angel of Mercy, I highly suggest listening to it or reading it, depending on how you process information. I'm personally an auditory person, so that's the wrong button. I prefer the auditory option. There will be spoilers to the story in chat, so if you want to listen to that real quick, stream will still be here. I'm going to worry about the centering on that later. But if you don't care about spoilers or My Little Pony or creepypastas in general, and you just want a place to hang out, that's okay too, but this is what we will mostly be talking about. Maybe. I don't know. No. That's the wrong way. Reverse. There we go. So, the reasoning behind the title of today's stream is the reason why I love this creepypasta so much, is because it revealed something about myself that I'm not sure is accurate because it is a form of psychosis, but it does make me think, oh my, that is quite a slippery slope. Oh, pardon me. Gonna be a lot of yawning in this one until the caffeine kicks in. Which isn't gonna be for a while because I drink black coffee every day. And my body has kind of built an immunity to that much caffeine. So unless I'm double caffeinating, I'm not going to feel any, kick from the blackness. Especially since this is like leftover coffee from what my dad made last night and this morning. Actually, no, this is last night's coffee. So it's cold. And I think microwaving coffee should come with a life sentence. So, cold it is. Boy, you couldn't even close the door when you come in. Selfish dog. No opposable thumbs. Couldn't close the door. Couldn't be bothered. Alright, let's get started. I'm going to start on the pony version of the art first, because I think it'll be the fastest for me to draw. Not the easiest by any means, but I think it'll be faster because of the posing. Applejack, my boo, you're going to kill me with this pose. How do you put this in that? I really like the pose I have for Fluttershy, though. I do like that one. What the hell? Despite featuring poor Applejack being in quite a compromised position, this is a Fluttershy creepypasta. And I love this one particularly because, like butterflies, this feels the most in character for Fluttershy. You know, being the soft but secretly very strong pony. She doesn't want to see people suffer, especially the ones she cares about. So it would only make sense that she would dip into some form of psychosis, like being an angel of mercy. If you don't know what an angel of mercy psychosis is, it's also been called the angel of death. I guess it's a mental illness, but it's psychosis because it's a disconnect from reality. And it's when your psyche just kind of snaps. Usually it happens with nurses because they are surrounded by sick patients all the time. And it's when you, the way they describe it, they don't want to see people suffer anymore. So to end their suffering, they just kill their patients. And it has happened a lot in history. And I don't know if it still happens today or, happens as often as it used to. This hair is going to drive me absolutely up a wall. I'm going to try a different pose. Yeah, I'm not quite liking that one. Wait, Elias, stop licking. Hang on. Elias. Stop. That's bad for a pupper. Stop licking. I absolutely love the way he looks at me whenever I tell him to stop licking, because he just looks at me like, oh, what'd I do? Alright, let's try to... Hello? Oh, it's YouTube. Okay. I do like this hunched. Maybe if I have her head tilted down and towards, maybe? Because this is at the end of the story. Major spoilers, but this is at the end of the story when she's, done the deed. How do you draw hooves? How do you draw? Stop it. Wasn't her hair supposed to be done up? It wasn't described that way in the story. At least I didn't think it was. Honestly, this stream probably should have been muted because of how nonverbal and tired I'm going to be throughout the whole thing. I'm gonna try again. Based on how, because the thing is, you want the pose to show the emotion, and especially for that particular scene, Fluttershy is cradling Applejack in her arms. So that might be like the back of her head. No, the door was right there. That's not how foreshortening works. And that's the wrong lasso tool. Hello. There we go. Maybe if I just have Fluttershy's wing wrapped around her. The thing with these ponies is that they have these cute little hairs, but then if you try to draw them face on, it's just, wait a minute, that's not... That doesn't work. Right? That's what her cottage looks like, right? I think that's what the inside of her cottage looks like. I kind of want... Here's the thing. I want her wings... I want Fluttershy's wings to be splayed out because the angel imagery. But I also don't want to take away from the focus point, which is Elias. Good boy. Alright. Okay, that's actually what I want here. Oh, come on. Put that there so I can work from it. Shoulder. Wrist. Because this is technically elbow. Right? That's how horsies work? Watch I heard. Hoof should be here, bracing Applejack's neck. Like a little bean shape. Then we have her shoulder, head. Oh, that'd be cute if I drew, if I had, Fluttershy nuzzling her. Now, this is not romantic. There's nothing romantic about this story. I'm so sorry. I forgot about the background music. My bad, G. Now, I don't hate it when writers want to put their favorite ships in the creepypasta, as long as it doesn't take away from the horror, because there was one creepypasta that I heard that 90% of it was just shipping and couples being cute, which is fine, but I clicked on this for a horror story, you know, like scare me. Don't just jump scare me with the don't just say, yeah, this is cute little, what's Fluttershy's body doing? Okay, we have neck, shoulders, hunched, body. Because she's supposed to be in a dress for this bit, this dress. So she'd be on her metaphorical knees, which would be here. Which you wouldn't see behind Applejack anyway. I want to have Applejack's arms or her four hooves being loose to show that she is, spoilers, dead in this shot, but I want to showcase what killed her. Maybe if I have her head pointed down. If they're like touch, no. And that she's like nuzzling her forehead. That's not really just how it's described in the story, and I don't want this to look too sapphic. Alright, Fluttershy, this drawing of Fluttershy is pissing me off. Hang on. I just realized before I started stream, this is the third time I've drawn Applejack this month. Which is funny because I haven't even drawn fan art for my favorite Applejack focused creepypasta this month because I've drawn so much fan art for that story already. I mean, I could draw more, but I wanted to give the spotlight to the other stories that I really like, you know? I really want to draw fan art for Something Sweet to Bite. But like the problems with most of my fan art, like I want to draw fan art for The Ritual and The Invisible Man and Spaced Invaders. I don't know what to draw. I just know I want to draw fan art for that story to showcase that, you know, I love it so much. Oh, I will have to be mindful of Applejack's cutie mark, actually, in this one. Let's see, her tail usually comes forward because it's in a little knot. Depending on where her head is going to be, her hair is starting... Actually, her hair tie is going to be, like, down. No, it's kind of not, somehow. Or maybe it's come undone. That'd look kind of cool. But then that'd be yellow up against yellow, which... Oh my, their yellows are very the differences in Applejack's hair and Fluttershy's fur is very minimal. I'm gonna have to be careful with how I do that. And sometimes they use the wing hands in My Little Pony, which I absolutely love. So I want to have this wing curling like around them, and this wing splayed out a little bit more. side view. Yeah, let's do a side view. I could obscure her face with her hair like I had in the original sketch. I could bring that head position back. Yes, I do like that. It doesn't quite match this one anymore. Since she's, you know, relaxed, her ears would probably be up. If I wasn't such a stickler for a schedule, I'd just have the stream later once I actually got a sketch finished, but I thought I did. Poor Applejack. Rarity always gets her horn broken. Twilight just goes insane looking for answers, trying to be the sane one. Trying to be the logical one. Rainbow Dash gets either thrown in a meat grinder or is throwing the people in the meat grinder. And Pinkie Pie is just usually the murderous psychopath. And Fluttershy, well, that's 50. I think it's 50-50. Fluttershy is either the poor victim or the perpetrator. And the ones that are really good never show Fluttershy as being violent or, you know, like angry. My favorite Fluttershy creepypastas, like Angel of Mercy or Butterflies, or I think those two are the ones that come to mind. Angel of Mercy and Butterflies. They're 100% in Fluttershy's character, because she's still the shy, timid pony that she is, but she just cares very deeply about the well-being of others. Or about animals. The well-being of animals. Because like in Butterflies, she's killed dozens of other ponies to serve as hosts for butterfly larvae, which is terrifying, but also kinda in her character to care more about animals than the welfare of animals than of ponies. Or in Angel of Mercy, she does care for the well-being of ponies, but she knows that she just hates to see them suffer needlessly. So she just kills them. I think this story is particularly terrifying in how well written it is, because the whole time Fluttershy is just, oh, Applejack, please, don't hurt yourself. When Applejack's trying to get away from her. So you're not... I never wanted to see you suffer. Oh, please, Applejack, just let me do this for you. Just, oh my god. She's still the same soft-spoken, caring, kind pony. But she gonna kill you. I say, I'm just in the early stages. And if I just take it easy, I'll be fine. It says, oh, Applejack, we both know you won't rest properly. The fact that it's gotten this bad means you've already put it off for too long. This is just easier. Easier for you? But that's the point. That's kind of the tragedy of the Angel of Mercy psychosis. They say to themselves, oh, this is because I care for the well-being of my patients and I hate to see them suffer. No, you're the one who can't stand the pain and suffering. So it's for your sense of peace. Because, she's crying when she kills Applejack because you weren't supposed to suffer. It was supposed to be painless. But then as soon as she stops crying, it's like, oh, there's peace and quiet. And then she just gets the mop. It's like, huh? That's terrifying. Now, I personally do not have psychosis. I do have my own fair share of mental problems, but I don't think it's ever gone that far. But it would be like, if I did ever snap, it would probably be something like this. How? Maybe if I just have her, her arms folded. Like Fluttershy picked them up and placed them in her lap. That'd be a little, yeah, there we go. That'd be a little easier to draw. Also, the vocal work in the video version of the story was very well done. I think it's because I grew up in the early, not the early years of creepypasta, but in the, here's my creepypasta OC. They're crazy. Wee hee hee. They enjoy blood and violence, and they just they were bullied, and so they killed their bullies, and then they got a taste for it, and now they live at Slender Man's mansion, and be like, oh my... Cringe! I grew up in the Tiki Toby era. If you know, you know. Why'd the music stop? There it is. Okay, it just looped. God, you know, with the return of Marble Hornets with the Rosswood series, I've seen a lot of people start reposting or, like, redrawing some fan art. And I would love to draw some Marble Hornets fan art. I remember, like, what first really, like, someone asked me, what first really got me into the creepypasta, like, characters, not just the stories, but, like, the characters, was someone, I was doing requests over on, I've told the story before, I was doing requests on Google Plus, which is a very old sentence. And someone asked me to draw their OC cosplaying as Tiki Toby. I was like, oh, who's that? And so I looked it up. I was like, oh, this is a cool design. Oh, creepypasta? Very interesting. Let me listen to it while I draw the design, just so I know, like, how to, like, pose the character. And of course, you know, when you're in high school, that stuff is cool. You know, having a murderous psychopath that's also a teenager that runs on, you know, around in the woods, that is also a complete goober. You know, the gooberverse, or the goobification. The woobified. The woobified creepypasta killers. Love them or you hate them, they were all the rave back then. Especially Jeff the Killer. Holy God, he was everywhere. And I don't understand why. Well, I do understand why. He was kind of like the first of the bullied, troubled teenager that became a murderous psychopath because, you know, he was just, oh, it's not his fault, he was bullied. It's like, he didn't have to kill those people. Or mutilate himself. I think the author later came back and rewrote Jeff the Killer, and I like their rewritten version more. Makes more sense character-wise. But, you know, it was the first, so you gotta appreciate the origin of the craft. You know, like Ted the Caver was one of the first creepypastas to be ever posted on the internet in the, like, it was the first in the way that started the creepypasta format. This was before the No Sleep subreddit was even a thing. There's just a Ted the Caver blog. I'm gonna make her hair just a little bit haggard because she is sick. And she had been through a lot at this point in the story. Her hat is nowhere to be seen because I'll be fucked before I have to draw a Stetson. I know her head is a little bit big in comparison to her body, but, you know, that's just par for the course. What layer is that on? That's on this layer. Okay, I'm gonna tilt her head back just a wee. I think one of the most, I don't want to say they're the most egregious, but the just blatant misrepresentation of their characters, not just woobified, but genuinely blatant misunderstanding of the text, is Masky and Hoodie from Marble Hornets. I'm only saying they're the most because they're the ones I know about. Holy crap! Did the fandom not even watch Marble Hornets? What in that made them think that they were like Slenderman's proxies and whatnot? Even the creator said, "Hey, they're not proxies. They have nothing to do with that. They're working against the operator, not with. They're not his servants. They're not doing his bidding because Alex is doing his bidding. Why would they be trying to kill Alex if they were also serving the operator? Okay? That doesn't make any sense. But no, they were proxies and apparently obsessed with cheesecake. You know why? I didn't get the cheesecake thing. I thought that was just fandom being fandom. But then apparently it was the Masky being obsessed with cheesecake was to fat shame the actor for Tim. Just, oh. Okay. So you're a bitch. Hey fandom, I wrote you a song. Yeah, it goes a little something like this. You're a bitch. Ah, you're a bitch, a bitch. Can't have you starting wars, dumbass. I've never seen Applejack with such voluminous hair, but I'm just gonna draw it like that anyway. Because bothered I shan't be. Now somehow Fluttershy's hoof is here. And that's all I know. Okay. I'm gonna take this, copy paste. Oh, the proportions are not proportioning. Alright, hold up. Miss Jack of Apples, you're gonna have to be shrunk down until I can figure out formatting. Hello, Nightmare. Welcome to the stream. I am talking about My Little Pony I'm drawing the My Little Pony creepypastas while talking about old creepypastas from the internet. Because I grew up in the Jeff the Killer is uwu soft boy era of the internet, and I, at the time, liked it, but now hate it. God, you make me feel old. I remember Google Plus. That's how I got my first commission. God, you remember Google Plus? You remember Hastings? Alright, I'm going to erase the bits where Applejack is supposed to be, because I already drew that. This is just for Flutters. But the reason why I bring up the old creepypastas is because, like, I remember, I just rewatched Marble Hornets, which was my favorite horror internet series for the longest time. And it still is. I love that story. I love that, series. I just also cannot fathom how the fandom woobified them. It's like, oh yeah, they're obsessed with cheesecake and they're Slender Man's proxies and they're just silly little guys. It's just, I mean, okay, fandom is not a fandom, but what? What? Now here's the thing with like Tiki Toby. Tiki Toby wasn't woobified because he was already a goober when like the original artist wrote him, like the original creator. Now the original story, he wasn't a silly little guy. He actually did have, you know, very sad childhood, I suppose. But it wasn't just like, oh, then the fandom took hold and then he was made an idiot. It's like, no, the original creator, after writing that creepypasta, shipped him with another character, and he was Slenderman's proxy, and then all the stories came out, and then he was, you know, silly little soft boy. It's like, you literally murdered your father. Okay. Don't get it twisted. You twisted. You never got into creepypastas, your ass was into SCPs. Which is funny because I think SCPs are kind of boring. And controversial yet brave. Don't shoot. Please do not crucify me. I mean, I get how some can be interesting, but it's just like most of the SCP stories that I can find are very boring to me. Or it's just a lot of stolen content. A lot of stolen IPs. Now, I know the new owners, the guys that run the SCP, I know now they've been really focusing on giving proper credit to the original creators, which is good, but it's about damn time that has happened. No, that's too close. I'm gonna scoot her this away, just to cover up that mistake. Shoot now, it'll consume your flesh. Yeah. There's only one time when I was like, oh, this is very interesting, and it wasn't really an SCP. It was a story called, I'm a security guard for a government prison or something like that. And that had a few SCPs in it, or at least they had some SCP-esque characters in there. Now, SCPs, I think the reason why I'm evasive for SCPs, and you're like, oh, you're taking all these scary creatures and you're putting them into one facility or into one universe that are all connected somehow and whatnot. It reminds me of the Slender Mansion era of the internet. You know, where like all the creepypasta characters live together in Slender Man's house in the middle of the woods, and they hang out, and they're like basically like frat boys. Like, okay, that's just, I know it's not doing that, but it's you're one fan fiction away. I'm surprised there hasn't been a goobified you know, woobified SCPs. So I guess you get kudos for that. Wait, she's wearing the dress. So, long sleeves, apron. Huh? We won't even get to see any of that. I get to hide all the details. Ha 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 ha. Get wrecked. Flutters, my girl, your head is in the way. The only silly SCP that comes to mind is 999. What's that one? The tick. Oh my fucking god. You can't be serious. A tickle monster? Get out of here. I mean, you see what I mean? It's giving me the Slender Mansion vibes. It's a little orange blob that can cure depression. I remember seeing fan art of that because someone put the SCPs in the Has-Been Hotel universe, and it showed Lucifer holding the little guy, and it'd be like, I can't stop smiling, Charlie, help! I was like, what is this little thing? And my sister explained it to me. She's like, oh yeah, that's an SCP. It's like, oh, okay. Also with SCPs, I always feel like you're one step away from just doing death battle. So it's like, what's the point of having all of these creatures in the same universe if you're not gonna put them in a death match? You know? I'm gonna make Fluttershy look a lot more dainty, because that's like one aspect of her character that doesn't really translate with, you know, the same body syndrome that's going on in here. She's supposed to be very elegant. Oh yeah, the death battles, like Doom Guy versus the Shy Guy. Now, is that Shy Guy from Mario, or... Wait, no. Yeah, because the guy from Mario is Shy Guy. The SCP is the Shy Man. Or, is it like the Shy Man or something like that? Where if you see a picture, if you look at him... Oh, the SCP. Okay. I thought it was called the Shy Man, because Mario, like, Nintendo owns Shy Guy. Because you know how Nintendo is. But if you look at him or even see a photo of them, he kills you because he doesn't want to get looked at. It's like, well, you know, by running all that way to try and kill a person for even looking at a photo of you, you're having them look at you. I thought if you were shy, you would just run away. You know, that's what I do. I don't want her to look, I don't want to give her a baby face, since she canonically is older. And I don't want to give her an upturned muzzle. If you see anything of his face, he tracks you down and kills you. Most of the time it's leaping rocked back and forth, covering his face with his hand. Yeah. Yeah, I've seen photos of it. Still alive. He probably got stuck. He probably got caught by Border Patrol. But I also, here's another thing. Don't feel too offended that I don't like your SCPs. I also think haunted videotapes, creepypastas, or like scary things are boring. And I think haunted video games are boring. I'm sorry to all of the MediBang fans out there and Sonic.exe. I think your creepypasta is boring. Because it's just a haunted game cartridge. Just don't play. Or just throw it away, okay? It's not that... Just don't engage. Same thing with trolls. Just block them. You know? Now, if it's like a hacker or something, like the horror game, Parasocial, oh my god, that was terrifying, because they were literally being stalked. That is creepy. But like, a haunted game, like MediBang or Sonic.exe, it's like, you got a buddy game that some troll made, and it's like, there's an easy explanation for it. It's not like, oh my god, what is that? Oh. It feels like, oh, the cup moved. Ooh, a poltergeist. It's like, oh god. Did you see it? I think I either listened to, quote, the wrong version of MediBang, because when I listened to it, it's like, there's nothing scary about this. I don't know, maybe I just don't get it. Unless it was something like, there's an entity in the there's a ghost in the machine and it's gonna pull you into the game. And now you gotta survive the horrors of that. It'd be like, okay, that has potential. But if it has anything to do with video games, I'm just not in. I just don't think it's scary. Now, like, scary games? Yeah, I like scary horror games. But if that's the focus of your creepypasta, sorry. There are more terrifying things out there than a haunted video game. For me, anyway. Kind of the same with ocean-themed creepypastas. I'm sorry. You're just not scary. Not to me, anyway. And that I genuinely think that the reason why I don't think ocean-themed creepypastas are scary, like, I don't think they're scary at all, is because I don't live next to the ocean, or, you know, I've never... Well, I've been in the ocean before, and it's never... there's nothing to be afraid of out there. I've watched all sorts of documentaries. It's like, that's nothing scary. It's just big animals. Now, I understand why some people would think it's scary, so that, you know, there's that. I think if you're gonna have a creepypasta, like, story that's gonna spook me a little bit, put it in someone's home. Put it in the house. You know? Like, the creepypasta, It Comes at Bedtime. That was terrifying. Why? Because there was a literal monster that was stalking this kid throughout his entire life. That was scary. don't know. Maybe I'm just desensitized because I listen to a lot of creepypastas, or maybe I'm just a purist. I don't know. The video game ones don't scare me. Haunted dolls don't scare me. Just kick it. Okay, yeah, I like that more. I just do that. There we go. Now I take the wing, curl it in a bit more. Make it look like she's being cradled. Pegasus, but behind the shoulders. There we go. Okay, now for her hair. Fluttershy, my girl, why are you so hard to draw? Because I don't want to cover up all the hard work I did on Applejack. I'm just gonna make her hair, like, to do that. We're defying physics with this hair. Because I say so. Not quite the stitch I had planned. But oh well. Okay, yeah, that'll do. I forgot to save. Let's not do that again. Alright, MLP again. Call this one Mercy. No. You weren't. You. Oh my god. Call that one You Weren't Supposed to Suffer. And then this one, if I ever get around to it, this one we will call Mercy. Mercy. Probably won't get to this one this stream. Let's actually smile on there. Let's not do that. Because it was still in her back, right? Yeah, and it was quite a sizable knife. Was that okay for Twitch? Can I even have that? It should be lower. Because she could, when she looked back, she could see it. Or at least, according to the writing. Wait, yeah, hold on. If I look back... Yeah, no, all I could see is the handle sticking out. And by the shoulder blades... Because that, yeah, through the heart. Yep. There we go. And then we do all that again. Ugh. There we go. Erg. That was a little too heavy. Hang on. There we go. That's a bit much. Cuffed. Collar. Oof. There we go. Sticking out a bit too much. There we go. You know, it's funny, since drawing the Let Her In fan art, my DeviantArt suggestions are now filling up with people drawing fan art for Let Her In. And I'm not saying I started the trend because this is old art. It's just I'm late to the party, as per usual. Oh, that's one issue. There we go. Nose was tilted too far down. It doesn't say what Applejack's affliction made her look like. In the art they showed in the video, they had like a little bit of green under her eyes, but that might have been just a stylistic choice. Good enough, I guess. I'm going to draw Applejack's flank up here, and then just hide that. Nope, that's the wrong button. There we go. actually going to maybe not. I mean, I'm going to have the line here just to show that, yes, she does have a tail. But Fluttershy's wings are going to kind of be obscuring that. As we said, her hair and her wings are kind of the same color, so why is my shoulder blade acting up? It just looks weird. It's been a long time since I've had to draw wings, so I'm a little out of practice. Alternate title for this stream. POV, I locked the fuck in for an hour. Okay, there's one poorly drawn wing down the hatch. Or as I call it, the drain. There we go. There we go. Okay. Ah, my back. Well, now that the line art has absolutely killed me, I'm gonna take a quick bathroom and snack break. I'll be RB. Alright, I'm back. Ugh. I'm gonna grab some food. It's just gonna be granola bars, because that's all I have. Alright. My weather app says it's supposed to rain today, and I really hope it does, because I like the rain. Not that we need it currently. I'm definitely coloring the line art for this just to hide all my crappy mistakes. Alright, let's test some line weight here. Come on. There we go. Pardon. Hopefully. This looks okay. So if I'm being conscious of where the light is coming from, based on shadows, Gucci. Oh, okay, finally onto the coloring. Jeez, I'm gonna put them all in yellow. Because if I remember correctly, in the text, Applejack was supposed to look very pale and sickly. Not her usual bright orange. That silhouette looks questionable. So if I just take this and then make it lighter. There we go. See if I can somehow get this to work. I think for the sake of this piece, I might have to darken Applejack's hair a little bit, or make it a different kind of yellow. I might just go with that color. Just so she doesn't... It's a little dark. Just so she doesn't blend in too much with... No, that's too orange. Oops, that and this combined. Yep, desaturated dead now. The classic bloodshot eyes. Color of eyes, same as mine. Bloodshot. Yeah, there we go. I prefer not to speak. Pink. And we don't see her tail anywhere else, so that's good. The dress is just described as blue, and if my knowledge of history, you're supposed to look like an old style nurse. So that means it's a very blue. Yeah, like blue. From what I can tell. Maybe more navy than blue. But I don't know, navy's pretty dark. And even this might be a bit much. There we go, that's better. Apron. With cyan eyes. And that is basically it. For the coloring, at least. Oh, I'm gonna add the knife to Applejack's lair. What ho? Is that the sound of rifle? Hawk, stop moving. Whatever. I think yeah, it's raining. Heavier rain soon, it says. Oh, joy. Oh, right. Mouth. And now we get the blurred. The thing is, the blood? Not really splattered, but it definitely did drip down her back. I'm gonna have it drip down all the way to Fluttershy's hooves, because she's the one that stabbed her. And if you know anything about forensics, when you stab someone with a knife, no matter what kind of guard you have, you always cut yourself when you use it because of just the impact it needs. Your hand always bounces. You got small cuts on your hands. And blood's gonna be on your hands too. Physically and metaphorically. Now there is going to be some impact splatter on her hooves. Not a whole lot of blood than, you know, like the past few pieces, but just enough to where you're like, oh, oh. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, so the light is coming from here. So that means shading wise, poor AJ is going to be mostly covered. Poor AJ. Oh my god. Oh, good heavens. I knew something was missing. My bad. I'm a fake fan. I forgot about her cutie mark. Alright. So it's just... hang on. One, two, three. Bitch. Let's point it in the right direction, right? It's up on her flank. She's laying back. Yeah. Phew! That would have been terrible. Now, since Fluttershy is still alive, her shading is going to be different. Now, let's try it on normal first. This darker shade's going to be only for the darkest bits. Just another product of today. Rather be the hunter than the prey. And instead I reach face up against your unnatural. My beating heart of stone. You gotta be so cold to whoops. Almost forgot how buttons. Now this is going to look different. Yeah. Under multiply on... what is this? 50? If I just ring light it a little, it adds more depth and warmth to the shading. Because I don't want this to be cold. I want it to be warm. Almost inviting. Very unassuming. Very disarming. Because why would you be concerned? It's Fluttershy. What's there to worry about? And then, boom! Homicide. The yellow I used on her face blends in almost a little too perfectly with her fur. At least it does here. There we go. I do 55, that's pretty good. Yeah, there we go. That's the price you pay. Leave behind your heart a castaway. Just another product of the day. Rather be the hunter than the prey. And you stare down at your face like you're sure natural. A beating heart of stone. You're gonna be so cold to make it in this world. Yeah, you're a natural, living your life cutthroat. You're gonna be so cold. Yeah, you're a natural. There we go. The sound of this void of like a lack of color. Maybe if I make this deepest shade more blue, yeah, that'll offset the a little bit to her hair. That'll deepen these shadows, making them colder. Actually, I think Applejack's shading should be more... maybe not that dark. But yeah, that's good. That's good. And then for Miss Bab. Here we go. Hi, Waffles. Yeah. Kind of went nonverbal for a little while there. Welcome back to the Rune stream. More dead ponies. I feel like I should blur the blood on her hooves just a little bit, or maybe smudge. I should smudge it because it's impact splatter. Yeah, see? I just... There we go. That's better. Now we do the same thing over here. This is from coughing. So I think the... There we go. I think that's okay. This is from dripping, so it can be big and solid. If I want to be. Now, since poor AJ here is dead, we don't have to worry about the eye shines. But I am gonna worry, and by worry, I mean think about the... Oops. Line art colors. I'm gonna bring back my old, a throwback to my art style and only color the line art that's within a solid shape. Everything else on the inside is basically left alone. So that means all this, except eyes. I kept those black. This. That. It's a little tricky on intersections. Is that too light? Now I am going to separate a little bit of the... That can stay. Colors on Fluttershy. Oh my god. Since she's more alive. Okay, these can be... And she's got more on her, so... Likely the prettiest animation project so far. Happy how it's going. Well, I'm glad for you, man. I hope it turns out as pretty as you want it to be. Oh my. One thing that I really like about this creepypasta is how terrifying it made Fluttershy, but without making her, like, wee, I'm crazy, woohoo, I'm gonna murder, I love blood. It's more of a, don't worry, it'll all be over soon. No need for suffering. I'm here. I'm doing this because I care about you. Like, ah! Just hearing someone in the most kind, soft-spoken voice ever saying, it'll all be over soon, is just, ugh, sends a chill down my spine. I don't want to say too much, which may lose contrast, which I think is fun to play with. Cute cartoon. Realistic advertising using real images. I saw the behind the scenes whip that you posted. That looked really cool. The thing I really love about this line art style is how it makes everything look softer, in my opinion. Without having to put in too much effort. And it can also separate limbs and people. Like, I've colored the inside of Applejack's line art, but on the bits that are touching or interacting with Fluttershy, I mean, I could color this, because it's already separated from the wing enough. Same with this. There. I have no idea. I have some idea what the inside of Fluttershy's cottage looks like. But I don't remember how it works. Like, they're at they're in like the front entryway at this point in the story. I'm gonna add just a little bit more airbrushing. Did a very good job with it. Thank you. I used to draw wings all the time. And then I stopped working on that one series that had a lot of wing characters. For no reason other than just moving on to other projects. And then I just didn't draw wings as much anymore. You gotta be absolutely kidding me. Alright. Delete. Oh, I should have banned them. Oh well. If they show up again, we're getting their ass. Damn bots. Don't I have anything better to do? Oh, wait. Literally no. There, I'm just adding a little bit of smear to show that it's like soaking into her fur without, you know, taking away from the absolutely gorgeous handiwork I did. For like the actual blood droplets. There we go. One thing I don't like about the way I drew the wing is that now I can't crop it as low as I originally wanted it to. But to combat that, what I can do is have some sort of... It's a bit much. And then okay, I won't use white because that's typical. I'll use the lightest color of Fluttershy's eyes, and then using the power of the text tool, I'm gonna use some softer looking. That looks terrible. Hang on. Is that how you spell supposed? Or is that supposed as in, like, thinking? You know why this happens so many times, Sarah? Rename a Word document and didn't save it properly? A Word doc? Usually, well, if you're using Google Docs, those automatically save. But if you're using, like, Word on your computer, you rename... I don't know what's going on with your docs, man. I can, Okay, yeah, that's centered, but I don't know if it's spelled correctly. Hang on. Okay, no, I spelled it right. I spelt it right. That looks terrible. And hang on, they're wood floor, so I can be a little bit creative. Or, do I have, please say I do. I don't. Bollocks to it. Alright. Guess I'll just have to do it by hand. Hi, Dargor. I'm suffering. I am in misery. Most of the time it does automatically save, and then the next day it's just gone. Microsoft Windows is just gone. I mean, what it does best, I guess. Yeah. I switched to LibreOffice so fast. And honestly, it's so much better. As long as I give the illusion of wood floors. What are we drawing today? I am drawing in the pin, as it says in the pinned comment, fan art for one of my favorite Fluttershy creepypastas, Angel of Mercy. And as the title of the stream, whoops, suggests, it's one of the reasons why I should be in therapy. Not the definitive reason, but just a reason. Not because it's scary or anything like that. It's horror because it's mostly from the psychological standpoint. Oh, I can put it pooling on the floor. Ooh. Okay, what's the creepypasta about? Basically, Applejack comes by to visit Fluttershy because, well, her beloved pet has died, and Applejack wanted to comfort her. But unfortunately, Applejack is also very sick with Potomac fever. Now, it's not deadly, it was caught in the early stages, but it's going to be a lot of prolonged suffering. And Fluttershy doesn't want her friends to suffer. So she's like, I'm going to take care of you. So she puts on this little nurse outfit that is honestly quite cute and attacks Applejack and injects her with a muscle relaxant. And it's like, oh no, and Applejack wakes up with a pillow on her face. And she's like, what in tarnation's going on here? And Fluttershy is just, I suppose I should explain myself. Turns out, her beloved pet Angel Bunny didn't die of sickness. He was sick, but Fluttershy killed him. Because she just couldn't stand to see him needlessly suffering. So I made it better. I gave him mercy. Don't you see, Applejack? I'm doing this for you. And the whole time while Applejack is trying to escape Fluttershy's cottage and trying not to get killed, the whole time Fluttershy is just, no,
Applejack, please don't do that. You'll hurt yourself. Here, let me help you.
And it's just gently cradling her in her arms. And then when Applejack finally gets away and almost gets the door unlocked, Fluttershy stabs her. Ugh! And kills her. And then while Applejack is laying here dying, slowly bleeding out, while her friend literally stabbed her in the back, Fluttershy is the one crying. Because
you weren't supposed to suffer. I didn't want this to happen.
And then when Applejack... the lights go out in her eyes, she's dead. It's peaceful. It's quiet. Fluttershy breathes a sigh of relief and gets the mop. It's less action-oriented in its horror, and I kind of like that. I do like how the horror aspect of it is, this is almost, like, this is very in character for Fluttershy. Like, she would probably feel this way. And it's another creepypasta where poor beloved Applejack gets killed. Poor beloved Applejack was sick, refused to ask, was in trouble, refused to ask for help, and when she finally does ask for help, it shoots her in the foot with apple sleep experiment and shot her in the hoof because she asked Twilight for help with chores with the sleepless potion. She took it and she went insane. And in this one, she went to a doctor, told Fluttershy she was a little bit under the weather, and she got killed for it. Lesson learned here, folks. Never ask for help. It was the story... Both stories, Angel of Mercy and Apple Sleep Experiment, were written by the very lovely and talented MagpiePony on finfiction.com, and were also narrated on YouTube by the Lost Narrator, who is their wife. Wife? Yeah, her wife. They're married now. I think she even got to voice Fluttershy. Or someone else did. Well, I know Lost Narrator did the voice of Applejack in this one. Because she is kind of like the definitive voice of Applejack. The doctor said it was in the early stages. That was the wrong voice. The most strenuous thing I did was come and see you.
You and I both know you're too stubborn to actually give yourself some rest, and by the time you realize that, it'll already be too late. This is just easier.
Wait, huh? Excusez-moi? Not easier for you. Poor Applejack eventually does the Fluttershy, you just let me go, I won't press charges. I won't tell nobody, I swear.
It's all for the better.
I think the inside of her cottage is green, I can't remember. Any MLP fans in the chat, what's the color of the inside of Fluttershy's cottage? I can't remember. I think, wasn't it green? I think it was green. Now, let me look it up on my phone. Let me, Fluttershy's cottage. MLP. Fluttershy's cottage. Images. Okay, well that's the outside. Oh, the inside's actually... Wait, that's the living room. I want the entryway. And that's when Discord was staying over, so her cottage looked a lot different. Is that from the movie? So, inside. Doop. Wait, is that the outside? Oh, shoot. It's actually the other way around. Her floors are green. And then her walls... Based on the photo that I'm looking at, it looks like her front... it's a good thing I didn't draw her front entryway or door, because that would have been a pain in the tuchus. Wait, that's not her front entry. That is her front entryway. Why does she have a writing desk right next to the front entrance? Flutters, my doll. Well, that's what you see when you first walk in. Shiza. Anyway. Oh, when's my birthday? June. And that's all you're getting. Okay, if I do that. Hard lighting. I know that the light would conceivably... Actually, the light would actually be coming from here because of the window. Shoot. I did all the... Well, I can still make it work. Realize the dumbest thing. Before the Euro has its main currency, essentially Europe, the Netherlands had guilders. I mean, it would make more sense for it to be coming from this direction. This is overexposed, of course, but if the celestial heavenly light's coming from here, so that means Applejack is looking past her and died. Shucks. Okay, hang on. If I actually add a secondary layer with the multiply. lower opacity. And then there we go. Oops, that's the wrong one. I need a blur. There we go. Completely forgot that now that it still makes sense. Oh my, I know exactly what you're feeling, man, because I went through a similar, not quite the same thing when writing Gatesville, but I was like, oh yeah, let's have, because one part of Gatesville takes place during the 40s. And it's like, oh yeah, let's just have them listening to this song. That's from the 40s, right? No, it was from the 50s. It's like, damn it. All right, new plan. So we have them listening to this version of the song. Or we, I had to like basically jump through hoops just to make the scene work because I couldn't bring myself to cut it from the story. I was like, alright, let's have these types of people here working on the mines. They were here, right? Oh, actually, wait a minute. No. At this point, they would be... like... Or, like, just looking up immigration laws back in the 40s, before the U.S. joined the Second World War, was very interesting. Because it's like, oh, that's racist. And it's very discriminatory. It's like, really? Y'all were discriminating against Mexicans were considered Caucasian for the longest time? Ayo? It was very interesting, shall we say. Maybe if I just take this. There we go. That's better. That implies more lighting. And then... that travels down a Madame Rouge. You know that gypsy with the gold cat tooth? She's got a pad on 34th and 5, selling little bottles of love potion number 9. I told her that I was a flock with chicks. I've been this way since 1956. She looked at my palm and she made a magic sign. She said, what you need is love potion number 9. Whoops. She bent down and turned around and gave me a wink. She said, I'm gonna fix it up right here in the sink. It smelled like turpentine and looked like India ink. I held my nose, I closed my eyes, I took a drink. I didn't know it was a day or a night. I started kissing everything inside, but then I kissed a cop on 34th and 5. He broke my little bottle of love potion number 9. That was one of the songs that I wanted to have a few characters dancing to. It was like, wait a minute. They said 1956. Damn it! That particular version of the song that I really like didn't come out until the 60s. Fuck! Oh boy, were they racist. Oh, don't get me started on the little kitchen helper. Oh. Like, honestly, America was still mostly segregated until like the 70s, which was not that long ago. Oh, that. Yeah, the little helper. The little kitchen helper. It's like, oh! It was like in that Jacksepticeye video. It's like, wow, they had it all figured out back then. Wow, what an amazing... Oh my god! Never mind. Ugh. The good old days. Oh, that was so... I don't even watch Jacksepticeye, and that ended up on my For You page, and that was so funny. Nothing against Jacksepticeye, I just don't watch his stuff. Okay, select inverse. There we go. She looked at my palm and she made a magic sign. She said, what you need is love potion number 9. I had so much fun that I'm going back again. I wonder what happened to love potion number 10. Love potion number 9. There we go. Is this good? Hang on, let me get closer. No, I missed a spot on some of the line art. Alright. I almost forgot to save. Like the entire time. Love it. Come on. I didn't know it was a day or a night. I started guessing everything inside. I had so much fun that I'm going back again. I wonder what happened to love potion number 10. Bear with me, guys. That'll look good in a sec, don't worry. Nobody panic. There. Just needed some love. Ew. Ew, that looks green. Ew. But that's too much here. There we go. Just blur that over there so it's in the distance and not quite in focus. There we go. I'm gonna make the text a little bit more saturated. Excuse me, I'm gonna up the saturation. Just up the brightness a little bit. There we go. Oh, why are all my joints so rickety? And why is it already 2 o'clock? Ugh. Well, it's a good thing I finished that when and how I did, because I'm gonna call it there. I need lunch. I ate a little bit earlier, but, you know, not as good as the real deal. So that is it for this week's streams. Next week is Halloween. Halloween! So we're going to move on to some of the actual horror films, and then there's one piece of fan art. Actual horror films, and by actual I mean genuinely scared the pants off me. Which I don't get that terminology, but it's an American thing. So we did that. We've finished Angel of Mercy. And now, next week is going to be a little bit more genuine horror. Now, I'm not going to be showing anything terrible, but we will be talking about some of the things in the movie. But I've assumed that we're all horror fans here, so I don't think that's going to be that big of an issue. But I will figure something out. And I said this last stream, but I'll say it again here. When October is over, or whenever I finish these fall illustrations, I am going to be taking at least a week break from streaming. I will still be posting, hopefully still be posting art on DeviantArt, maybe making some posts on Tumblr, and the VODs would be caught up on YouTube by then. And then, after that, we'll be getting into my next animatic project. So, but before we do the animatic, I'm gonna need a break after this, because, oh my, I am tired. And I can already feel myself, you know, crashing out. But we're on the home stretch, so I can't give up now. Anyway. So I wouldn't say I'm a horror fan. Well, that's fine. Nothing. I won't be showing anything graphic. I'll just be talking about the film. So if you're like, oh, I'd like to check that movie out, warnings. Some warnings. Especially for Silence of the Lambs and The Thing. Those are some pretty heavy movies. But yeah. That's what the plan is going to be for the future on stream. For me and the rest of the day, I am going to render this, eat something maybe, and pass out. Because happy Friday. I'm always tired. Yeah, see you guys later. Whenever that may be.